York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
The theme of the weekend really appeared to be the R. Kelly documentary.
Yeah.
A lot of people tuned in.
A lot of people stayed home, made it a Netflix Lifetime and Chill weekend.
Yeah, Lifetime and Chill. Didn't even know that was a thing. Were you surprised by how much it took over?
It's weird because I hear the people saying, like, why are you guys surprised? You knew this was going on. But I think it's more about the details.
Right.
You know, the detailed stories, because we all have heard a lot of the stories and, you know, we followed it as much as we can. But when you see everything detailed, and I've never really heard a lot of the victims come out and people around them come out. So that was surprising to me to see how many people cooperated and allowed this to happen.
Right. Yeah, he had so many people around him.
Yeah.
The security guards, the staff members, the background singers, everybody involved, and everybody watched it happen and chilled out because of the money.
Yep.
I think it happened. The big tape came out in, 2002?
What, his sex tape?
Mm-hmm. The sex tape that everyone saw came out in 2002. If you were to go look at how many people then worked with him after 2002.
Yeah, that helped.
No, but just I'm saying.
The celebrities.
Yeah, like for example, you go look at his album Double Up, which is like 2005, 6, well after it happened. Swizz Beatz, Snoop Dogg, Nelly, Chamillionaire, T.I., T-Pain, Ludacris, Keisha Cole, Polo the Don. If you want to keep going? Let's see.
Jay-Z.
2009, Carrie Hilson, OJ the Juice Man, Robin Thicke, The Dream, Tyrese. Jay-Z did albums with him after that, of course. 2012,
So he got
Ludacris, Kelly Rowland, 2 Chainz, Jeezy, Future, Migos, Juicy J. Guys,
Keeps going.
2015, which, by the way, calling myself out also. I interviewed with him. I interviewed him at SOBs and took a picture with him, so include me as a jackass also. Ty Dolla $ign, Jhené Aiko, Juicy J, Lil Wayne, Jeremiah, Tinashe, WizKid.
So you're basically saying his sex tape made him hot out here.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying everyone chose to turn a blind eye.
For sure.
Right.
And it was hard for everyone to
Right.
accept.
Right.
And you held out some hope that, like, maybe it's just not what. But, guys, what are we going to sit here and pretend that a lot of us don't also do the same thing with Michael Jackson?
What you mean?
Hold out hope that the things that we heard are just not true?
Yeah, we don't know. Let's talk about R. Kelly right
See,
now.
exactly.
You
But
know
no,
what I'm
but
saying?
see,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
the thing. We'll make that joke, and I do the same
Yeah.
thing, but that's what we did with R. Kelly. Just for the record, that's the same thing we did.
It
Yeah.
continues to happen. And what's going to happen after this series kind of fades? And R. Kelly comes out with another
Well, the
song
thing is,
that feels good.
he's been so quiet recently, and he hasn't had a mainstream record in so long.
Right.
But he's definitely still touring and making a lot of money.
Yeah, there are definitely people still like.
He's selling out shows.
Yo, do you see that video that was going around on Twitter of him performing in concert and everyone grabbing his crotch?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's coming
Yeah.
out with an album right now, so you
That
never
still
know.
happens.
Are we going to boycott his music? Like,
It's crazy. We will get into more of this. Your calls, 1-800-223-97 in just a little bit. Can't believe in 2018 this is the conversation. Seemed like you would have thought it was years and years ago.
yeah, but still relevant.
Well, and somehow when you see it get all put together the way it was, it makes it much more clear.
Yeah.
Because I always thought about that at the time. I was like, well, don't people remember he married Aaliyah?
Right.
Wait, why does he call himself the Pied Piper?
Right. But I guess the relevancy, too, is that there are women still trapped right now.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
Even though it seems old, there's still women that's under his spell.
Right as we speak, with
As
their
we
families
speak.
trying to.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? That was your
Families trying to get
daughter?
him back. Yep.
It's crazy. Let's go to a police officer.
From a law enforcement perspective, I think that, law enforcement all along the way throughout these years have dropped the ball. I mean, there's definitely been ways that, someone could have cared a little bit more about these women and maybe pushed the envelope, took the time out to really dig in a little bit more, listen to the parents. It just feels like they kind of wash their hands of it and, just let things go on behind closed doors, not to have to really care about these young black women who've been subjected to this abuse all their lives. I think there's been plenty of, openings along the way, whether he's on tour, local Chicago police, some type of judge anywhere along the line that could have issued an injunction or, issued some type of legal paperwork to stop or, just investigate a little bit more what was going on. I really think law enforcement dropped the ball there, too. There's no way he's been going on with this all these years and nobody could have stepped in.
Thank you, Renee. It seems that way, too. I mean, especially once the Chicago Sun-Times, was the Sun-Times or the Tribune, whichever one it was, once the newspaper got the video and brought it to the police, it just seems surprising they wouldn't be able to put it together, especially when you go look at court records and see that there are all these different women's families who had been paid off. I don't know how that works legally. Like, once they're paid off, so no crime happened, you can no longer look at anything.
I think it depends on the state.
The contract. Hey, if I give you money and say, look, sign this, it depends on what I had you sign.
That too.
Now you got to shut up.
That too.
Yo, do you remember?
So
Do you remember?
sad.
Yo, do you have that? Remember that old clip that we used to play when R. Kelly goes, you like young girls, and he goes, now when you say young, how old are we talking?
In the Torre interview.
Yeah, it's in the documentary.
They showed that too.
Yeah.
We may still have that in
When
there.
you say teenage girls, what do you mean?
We actually have
What's
a
his
couple
quote?
of clips here. Now, here's one of the worst moments if you didn't see it. This is R. Kelly's genius brother, who's in jail talking about his brother.
Robert likes younger women. Robert likes younger women.
That doesn't make sense. Why would you say that? Why would you get on camera and say, what's the big deal with my brother? He has a preference. His preference is younger women. My preference is older women. It's just a preference. There was so much insanity throughout the whole thing. Let's go to Renee on line 7. Hey, Renee, how are you?
Hey, let's weigh in on this R. Kelly thing. You know what? I watched it and I was absolutely disgusted with him, with every adult that was involved.
Right.
Partly the parents of the kids. I mean, I'm a parent and I don't have any daughters, but I just can't imagine watching my kids go off with somebody without me trying to pursue a dream. The whole thing just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, imagine also, no matter what, the idea of being like, oh, yeah, my 13-year-old daughter goes to a studio with an artist and I'm not there. That sounds crazy.
Absolutely.
But
you know what? One of the girls had her older sister with her. And even to some degree, that girl was a little intimidated and felt intimidated. She left the situation and went home and didn't tell her parents, what had happened, which I thought was a little crazy too.
Did you also think about it like this? It would be crazy to ever do that. Think about how much crazier it would be in the years after you'd been hearing the stories about him.
Right.
But that's what
Exactly.
there was a clip, and I don't know if you remember this, when they were interviewing parents, and they were like, "Yeah, I mean, we had heard that about the tape, but he was cleared of all of that, so we thought it was okay."
Right.
That to me right there, I was like, why would you think that is okay?
Yeah.
Like you would take a gamble like that with your kid?
The desperation for an opportunity to have fame and
There you
wealth really is what has dominated all of these victims and their parents and mentors and influencers.
And R. Kelly's abuse of power.
And him knowing that people are addicted to this
Of course.
opportunity, he just takes full advantage. But it's really, as she's saying, it's proper mentoring. It's having proper parenting. Like the parents giving up their children just for an opportunity for their child to become a star is a part of the issue too. You know what I'm saying? So you have this sick, demented, sexual
Deviant?
just pursuing these young ladies who are looking for this opportunity and they don't have the right people around them to support them.
It's such a scary. Let's take a couple more people here. Just so many people have thoughts on this. Hot 97. Oh, nope, you're not there anymore. Hot 97. Hello. What were your thoughts on surviving R. Kelly?
Absolutely disgusted as a parent, as a female, as a young woman growing up in New York around that that same time in that era. There are other men out there like that, and that's what's crazy is that it's not just R. Kelly. I know this is this is a spotlight on him right now, but there are men out there that did it then, still do it, and it's absolutely insane.
I just think one thing that makes it so interesting is how much he hid in plain sight. Like he told you, I'm the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Pied Piper literally played his instrument and little kids followed him. He said it.
the songs, it seems like you're ready. Age ain't nothing but a number. If you go through the
You realize
the
how
songs,
weird? It didn't ever dawn on me how weird it is. Like, for example, Chia Lee had a song called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. And he's a kid, a 13-year-old, trying to kick it to older women by being like, nah, don't worry about it. Inherently, by the way society is and what men are like, that's inherently more appropriate than the idea that Age Ain't Nothing But a Number by Aaliyah is about her as a young woman trying to get older men to sleep with her. And we didn't even think about that.
Well, I don't know if she was trying to get older men.
That's
to
what
sleep
the
with
song's
her.
about. Go
Well,
listen to
I
it.
mean,
That's what the song's
Didn't R.
about.
Kelly write the song for her?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Basically wanting people to ignore their age difference in a relationship.
No. But at that point, when the song came out, it wasn't like we're a couple. The song was, here is this young woman who's 13, and the song that she's singing, because when it comes out, no one's thinking this is an R. Kelly song. They're just thinking it's a song by Aaliyah. And in the song by Aaliyah, she's being like, nah, age ain't nothing but a number.
Right.
That's an insane, and then when you find out, like, oh, he wrote that. Oh, then he married her.
Right. That was so that they can cover it up, you know.
And then they went on Video Soul wearing matching outfits and are like, what are you guys? Are you guys together? Are you a couple? And they're
we're
just like,
best friends.
we're just best friends. 15-year-olds and 15-year-old girls aren't best friends with 30-year-old men.
Nope.
It's not a thing. 15-year-old boys aren't best friends with 30-year-old men.
Right.
Like, it's just so crazy.
And it was easy to ignore at the time because you're thinking maybe this is just a musical relationship. They probably they're in the studio, they're making songs, and they're like, oh, we're best friends.
I do think that's a big part of it at that point, that a lot of us were like, well, it's the music industry. She's probably wise beyond her years. You know, she's this artist. Artists have, and for the record, artist ages, it is a different thing. Like, it is a slightly different world. You know, for example, there are artists who I have had very friendly relationships with, and I'm almost 40 now, who are 22, who I'm like, oh yeah, I don't even think of them as being that young. They're in the industry, they have been for a long time, they know music. So I can see how people start thinking you could believe that it could just be that sort of relationship. We're like, oh, they're all professionals.
Right.
This was not that. And she was a kid, she was 15.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
This is him preying on young women. And
Yeah.
that's really what it is.
And praying it's like in such a diabolical, endless,
Calculated.
Yeah.
There was one woman on the show who was Latina.
Yeah.
You saw the girl.
Lizette,
a
yeah.
survivor.
Yeah.
And she said she was basically prostituting herself. But there's one moment where she's crying and she said, I just wanted my dream to happen so bad. I wanted it so bad. I was willing to do whatever it took. And I knew what I was doing was wrong. And I knew what he was asking of me was going to be more than I really wanted to do. But I wanted it so bad that I didn't know what to do. And that's an issue in itself.
Hot 97, hello.
I'm calling in regards to the R. Kelly
Sure, go ahead.
saga. My point is, first of all, good morning to all of you guys. And I love you guys for always touching on the subject.
Thank you.
My thing is, first of all, R. Kelly is going to hell with gasoline draws on. That's my take. Number two, all these parents that is coming out now that's saying all these bullshit, you should have not be having your teenage children around this grown man, especially for the fact that he was brought up in court for the same subject matter. You should have never had your kids around him. Number one. Number two, Sparkles, you're going to hell with R. Kelly too. Because you brought your family member around R. Kelly knowing what was going on. R. Kelly just wasn't doing it to you because you was tough and you had sauce. So you was making your way, but you was selling out your family member to get to your destination. Number three, family members, stop having these people with your kids. Stop leaving your kids with people, especially when you hear people saying they got some funny shit going on. Stop having your kids around these people. And later, 30 years later, you want to blame people. All those adults that was working with R. Kelly and enjoying R. Kelly's money, you all knew what was going on.
No, that's right. She's absolutely right.
You are
Very
100%
aggressively.
right.
Where you from, man?
She's from Hung Up because she's into Keep Cursing.
She's from the
She's very
The problem is nobody had a Caribbean grandmother around them. You know what I'm saying? To tell you that you're gonna go to hell with
with gasoline.
on your drawers.
That was a good way to wrap things up.